everyone, and welcome back to some more new Pokemon Snap. I have finally made a brand new discovery. Or what I should say is we finally figured out how to make it to the other side part of this level.
Look how the light shines down here. It's the best part of underwater photography.
We have more new Pokemon and new places to explore. Finally. We actually have new discoveries to look at. Finally. We actually have more discoveries to look at. And that is why I decided to film this thing. Because we actually have discoveries to look at. Whoa! Hi! There we go. Well, look at that. We found some frillfish, some manatines. And now we're in a deep sea trench. Which is super, super cool. But also, like, horrifying. We're in a deep sea trench. Why do I get a feeling that the reason why it's so foggy in this area is there's something in this area, man. Just a thought, just an opinion. You know, maybe I'm crazy, but I have this, like, gut feeling that there's something here that, like, that personally I think is, of interest. Interesting. Very, very interesting. There we go, it's one of the ancient ruins. Come on, hit the thing. Come on. Dang it. Didn't hit it. Alright. But I know for a fact there's something to this area, so... Anyway, I'm glad we found a whole new spot to go to, at least. At least we got that today. Indeed, indeed. I'm very, very happy about that, at the very least. That does mean that we did finally make some new progress in this area. Which is great. Great to know. Really don't have a whole lot we could potentially do. I'm gonna pick that one because of all of that. Magikarp shot is probably the best that we're gonna do. I think us catching it shooting is the best we could do. That's probably a good one where it's hiding. We need the 2, which is gonna be that. Side Purple. It's probably gonna be the better shot. We need the 1 star, we don't need the second one. I definitely think we should grab the 3 star, which is this very cute couple photo. We're gonna grab that 1 star, and then the Octillery one, we'll grab that. There we go. Let's take a gander at the professor's evaluation. This might get us to 3 stars in this area, which is what we need to hit for anything to progress. Might be enough to get that done. I'm not sure, though. We completed Octillery! Hey! Octillery's finished. And now we got Frelish. The Frelish done. Lantern. Beautiful. That's a Credilli. We got Golisopod. Probably the only cool-looking Pokemon that we got from Gen 7. I will eventually talk about that. Whoa, oh, it's not there yet. Okay. By the way, thanks to your progress, I've got something to report. Okay. There we go. Now that we've finally got that result that we needed, we can actually do something important. There is actually something that we can do now. Well, some special feat has been practically analyzing the data. Yep. Professor, did you figure out? I may have. Do you remember those ruins on the seafloor? I'm certain they're connected to the Illumina Pokemon. And as if to prove it, we've picked up more of those energy rings that we've been seeing. They're coming from the ocean depths beyond the ruins. Guess that means Captain Vince couldn't have gotten there 100 years ago. Good thing we've got the Neo 1. Time to get to work. Okay. So, we did unlock a brand new lore. Brand new thing. So, instead of going... So, I didn't even introduce myself. This is your host, King of Fluff here. We had a hot start to the first 10 minutes of this video. Today, as I was saying, we discovered that new route in the Lental seafloor. I finally got it to pop. Now, we are going to go and do the Illumina spot there, and if there's time, we'll go into the Elsewhere Forest. If not, we'll do the Elsewhere Forest next time. So, that is what we are doing today. Let's do it. Let's go to this Illumina spot and learn a little bit more of the story. We're finally making more and more progress in this game. By the by, I should mention. No, I'm gonna be quiet. Let this cutscene play. Whoa! Hello? Oh my, it's the wishy-washy. Oh my. No dialogue this time, okay.
Are you okay?
Yeah, we're fine.
Thank goodness.
The Neo one's fine too.
Ooh, we can take a picture of that.
A Pokemon. You good to go after it? All right. Take a careful look around.
If I remember correctly,
Hey, maybe try making all those wishy-washy glue.
if I remember... Oh, well, okay. Bye. Bye. Whoa.
That's the stuff.
I mean, we didn't really nail the timing on that one. Do we have a crystal bloom anywhere? That's really cool looking.
Try throwing a few Illumina orbs at that big wishy-washy.
Yeah, I'm working on it. Aha!
Whoa, really?
Can I get a better shot of it? No? Okay. You know, thanks for the tip, but alright, hello. Come on, hit the shot. That works. Oh hey, a crystal bloom. I'll make this a little bit. Come on, give me it. Come on. Yeah, there we go. Alright. We're gonna get a second opportunity at this, school form wishy-washy. Which is another really interesting idea for a Gen 7 Pokemon. Alright, I need to finally go over that. So, I have a very unpopular take. And it's not one that you would think is all that, like, aggressive or, shall I say... Where'd he go? Where? There he is. Jeez. And he's gone. But I have a personal take about Gen 7. And this is where where I am very much disagreeing with most of the community on this. I personally am of the opinion, and this is coming from someone that loves Pokemon, by the way, that Gen 7 is the worst generation in all of Pokemon. You can argue with me that Generation 8 is arguably worse because of Sword and Shield, and being that Sword and Shield was not a great generation for the game of Pokemon. And sure, while that can be true, while all of that can be said and can be accurate to Generation 7, to Generation 8, Generation 7 is the absolute pinnacle of worst Pokemon. Because not only is the story forcibly sad for, like, no reason. If you've played the Generation 7 games, you know what I mean. They're not great. They're not fun games, to be clear. And, to be honest, I don't really dig the idea that they are great games. I don't buy it. I think great games in Pokemon have every, like, should be great on their own 2 feet. Being what they are and who... The new Pokemon games are bad. Like, we can all admit that the new Pokemon games aren't universally awesome. We can all admit that. I think I can admit that some of the newer Pokemon games kind of have their own issues. However, if you are to argue that point, we must also look at the point of Generation 9. I can understand I can also understand where people are coming from with Generation 9, man. Generation 9 has not been very kind and isn't the greatest Pokemon games. I think we can all agree that Generation 9 was not great. As far as, like, performance-wise. However, story-wise, they're great. I think the Generation 9 games have story, they have characters that are fun, and they are leagues way better than the Generation 8
That was quite a surprise.
games. Generation 8 has this issue to me
Come on back.
that is irreversible. It is... Generation 8 has this issue of Sword and Shield being a mix of open world ideas and a bad story. Generation 8's just not great as far as stories go. Of course. But I also think that Generation 8 has, like, Legends Arceus, which is arguably one of the best games they've made. Arguably. In the most recent time period as far as mainline goes. And then the, like... and then you have the Diamond and Pearl remix, which are bad. But I first and foremost think that Generation 7 is the lowest point in the franchise. If you disagree, that's great. I love that for you. But I do believe that they are the worst in the franchise by a country mile, because all they did was bring in things that make no sense. You have the Z moves being awful. They were just one-hit kill moves, which we didn't need in Pokemon to begin with. It was an easy win now button. You had stories that took themselves so seriously when it's a game made for children. And there shouldn't be that much talk of death in a game made for children. I'm sorry, there's not that much need for it. You can talk about it, sure, in a children's game, but you need to hint away from it. You need to kind of subtly do it, not boldly declare it. And I say that as a complaint for Legends ZA and for Legends Arceus. Because they boldly do it, which is crazy. Then, at the same point in time, like, talking about character death is one thing, Pokemon death is another. Which, we'll get to that if we ever talk about the anime. Anyway, I'm getting jumbled. Generation 7 to me is arguably the worst generation. Because you have the confusing mess of what Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon and Sun and Moon, Ultra Sun and Moon. The anime's terrible for the most part. Mainly because I don't like the designs of the characters. I just think they look weird. And then you have Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, which are bad. They are the most, like, of the time kind of thing of like, oh, we gotta have a motion controlled Pokemon game. The Switch just came out. We gotta have a motion controlled Pokemon game. You don't. You just don't. It's not great. They don't function well, and they're very, very, very rough games. But anyway, that is just my opinion on those games. I understand that this has been that's a hot take, and that we just spent some time talking about that, but I had to get that off my chest, because that is the most, like, hot take that I had. I think Gen 7 is the weakest generation in Pokemon. And if you want my other side of the coin, I think the strongest is Gen 5. I think the strongest generation in Pokemon is Gen 5 before all of the 3D comes into play. I think Gen 5 is the strongest generation because you have story, a very gripping narrative that doesn't take itself too seriously, but also makes it very clear that there's real consequences for your actions in the game. And I think it's awesome. And, let me be clear, it has the best side modes, it has the best gameplay, and notoriously difficult battles. I think it's a great generation. Whereas Gen 7 is still in that, like, oh, let's babyfy Pokemon to a degree as far as, like, not the story, but the gameplay itself. Anyway, that's my sit on a cake stand and talk about things. Let's continue. Sorry if you like Generation 7 and it's your favorite generation. I completely get that, and I understand why, but I can understand why you like Generation 7. I do, I get it. Why someone would enjoy Generation 7, but that's beyond my talking points. But I can understand that. If you disagree with me, let me know in the comments below. I know that's a hot take, and maybe you agree with me that Gen 7 was a weak generation for Pokemon, especially with, like, that stuff that I mentioned. With the 3DS games, and Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. I really think Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee were the beginning of the end, to me. Like, the 3DS games were the beginning of, not the end, but the beginning of a series-long decrease. But that is what I have to think about it. Anyway, enough said about Generation 7. We are not in that generation anymore. We're at the tail end of Generation 9, and we are awaiting Pokemon Winds and Waves, which I'm very much looking forward to, because I really am hopeful that this new gen is going to be better. Another island, another amazing Illumina Pokemon. That's right, just like the Travelog said, every part of Lental is home to its own Illumina Pokemon. Question is, how could Captain Vince have found that out? He only wrote about meeting 2 Illumina Pokemon, right? Yes. And he also wrote that there were 4. We've met 3. We've met 3 so far. Meganium, Volcarona, and the other one. And the one we just met, Wishy-Washy. Hey there, Shutterbugs. Remember how I said you tried doing a little photography here at camp? Yeah, thanks for the tip. We'll see the camp through fresh eyes. In that case, here's another idea. Why not try starting from a different spot? That ought to give you a new perspective. A different spot? Like where? How about here? That's different enough, isn't it? You can take another different route around the camp depending on where you start. Okay. Cool, we've not even done that, and we are not doing it. Because it's just a side activity that gives you more points and, like, more fun stuff to do. To keep you playing. We are not doing that. Next time on New Pokemon Snap, we talk about the Elsewhere Forest. And maybe in, like, the months ahead, I might make a scripted video on my thoughts on every generation and I rank them. Because, no, I'm gonna be honest, it's not that I hate Generation 7, but I definitely can tell you that that is a generation that I just refuse to go back to every once in a while. And, like, I like some of the Pokemon that they released in Generation 7. Wishiwashi's one of them. Golisopod's one of them. Rockruff and Lycanroc are one of them, because I think Lycanroc's really cool. There are several, like, Generation 7 Pokemon that are super, super interesting and super, super neat that I like, but I really don't dig most of what Generation 7 did. But that is it as far as that is concerned, and that is it from me. I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.